Welcome back, everyone, to the next installment of The Letter. We're in the wine cellar. I think this is one of the first times we're actually exploring it, outside of when Marianne did it and got caught by a ghost. But we are with Marianne McCulloch now, and where do we go from here? There is the exit, but we are supposed to be searching the house for clues. Are we gonna just sneak into the right mansion? This could lead to all sorts of troubles, and I don't just mean the ghost. In any case, we leave the exit door open, so let's go. We can't waste time finding the switch again on the occasion something goes horribly wrong. There's bound to be, with me feeling this high-strung and tense. I'm not even sure why I thought it'll be a good idea to enlist McCulloch's help. Although she has been quite helpful so far, I can't shake off the horrible feeling something's going to happen to her if she stays with me. Even if I'm her safest bet if she wants to get out of this place alive.
You really believe that, don't you?
Did you say something?
McCulloch pauses mid-step, turning to me confused.
I didn't.
You sure? I just heard...
Don't you think I'll be the first person who'll know? Look, the ladder leading to the kitchen's up ahead. You might want to hurry. I just want to be done with this place.
See? You dragged another one.
This time, I'm sure. There's really a voice. Well, voices. Despite the look of protest McCulloch shoots me, I find myself stopping and looking for it, searching the immediate surrounding for the familiar form of the woman. I don't even have to venture too... I don't have to venture too far. Too, with two O's, too far from where I'm standing. Just an arm's length away from me, mirror shards litter the floor. Oh, yeah! And right on the biggest fragments, they speak. That's clever. Why are the mirror shards still here? You'd think Johannes would have cleaned that up immediately. It's been days. He never went back down to the wine cellar. All singing the same mocking tune against my ears, letting it echo throughout the small undercroft. Murmurs and laughters, jeering, scoffing, deriding, lacing venom into every crevice in my head, taunting me.
You dragged another person into this, Ashton.
Into another one of your silly little problems.
All because you can't fix them on your own.
You really haven't changed, have you? Some hero you are.
Useless.
Pathetic.
You're wrong.
My mistake lies in this first instance I've answered. The very second denial slipped from my mouth, their words have also seeped into my heart, allowing it to prod at and rouse my temper. I suppose allowing them. Despite knowing they are merely doing this to goad me, each word, each syllable, trickles into me, spurring the guilt I hope I've long buried.
Are we? Or is that simply what you've been telling yourself all this time?
Something to make yourself feel better, perhaps.
You're the one who took that letter off Isabella's hand that day. You're the one who opened it.
How does it feel, I wonder? To know you're responsible for all of this?
What do you think I'm doing? Why do you think I'm still trying to fix this?
Oh, but you can't. It's already too late. And you know that. You know all of this is futile.
Just face it, Ashton Frey. You're a failure, and they are the ones who have to pay for it.
A badge and a gun, and you still can't protect your own friends.
I mean, so far we have, but I know what you mean.
Can't even solve a case for an old man.
Can't even bring look right to justice.
Can't even keep his own family together.
No wonder they left you. Before you do the same thing to them.
Mom and Dad are better off without little old you, aren't they? It's a good thing they had the sense.
Pitiful, isn't it? Some detective you are. Some friend you are. Some son you are.
You might as well just throw that rank away. You're no use to people either way.
Shut it!
I hate this. I hate how this monster can easily get through to me. Every weakness, every insecurity it knows. To hear it said in my friend's voice, even more so. But what I hate above all of it is...
You know it's true, though.
All of it.
It's why all you can do is tell us to shut up. You don't want to hear a single word. because you're already aware of it.
You can't even admit it to yourself. Who's the coward now?
But no matter how hard you try, you're not gonna be able to save anyone.
Shut it! Not a single word anymore.
In the end, your own incompetence will eventually lead to the deaths of everyone you care about.
It laughs, sharp and piercing. At its sound, something in me snaps, a rage hastily unfurling, red filling my vision. And the next thing I know, I'm raising my hand, and something grabs at my wrist, followed by a buzz as another voice breaks through the haze. Yeah, Marianne must be like, what?
Don't listen to it!
The fog from my mind lifts. Every sound, every noise returns to me, flooding my every sense. All at once, there is this deafening silence. Slowly, I become aware of my surroundings. Bottles of wine, barrels of liquor, the faint old scent of death and decay somewhere, and a hand holding on to my wrist as if to keep me from hurting myself. In my hands, a shard. Blood drips from where it has cut my palm, trailing down my wrist until it disappears behind my sleeve. Hey, we've kind of done that one before. Good thing we had another person here this time. Not too deep, negligible even. There is a pain, however, a different kind. An ache somewhere else that stems not from the wound, but where every single word has hit. When I glance up at McCulloch, she merely stares at me with wide, horrified eyes.
Don't listen to it! No matter what happens, don't do what it says! It's how it gets us.
My grip on the shard falters, but only after I nod and drop it entirely does she release her grip. Afterwards, she simply steps back and looks away, hugging her arms closer to herself. She breathes a sigh, heavy. Perhaps weighted with her own guilt, what this monster might have used against her.
Come on, we're getting close.
She walks off without another comment, but there's worry in her as she gives the fragments one last glimpse. On the ground they lie lifeless now, no more voices, no more insults, but even as I walk away, one whispered taunt continues to ring in my ears.
It's useless, Ashton Frey. You are going to die.
And you are going to die alone.
A fear. One that has been long kept in the darkest place in my heart. One that a small part of me wishes for. The trapdoor swings open without much fuss. It isn't even locked, probably left open for when Wright asks for some midnight snack. I make sure the coast is clear, of course, before I pull myself and help McCulloch up. The butler of theirs is nowhere to be seen. He's probably sleeping, attending to his master, or doing some extra late-night work before turning in for the night. Meanwhile, Wright won't touch anything to do with menial chores, not even with a 10-foot pole. It's next to impossible for him to linger here. No servants. No anyone. And just as easy as that, we're in. Gently, I close the hatch. If things go well, the same path will be our way out. If our luck doesn't hold, that's not an option now, is it? I have people waiting for me. I really don't want to think what might happen. Sometimes it's best if we simply revel in the little victories. There are great blessings when everything else is going against you. And in a place like this, fraught with unknown dangers, it's a feeling that lasts only but a second. Suddenly, a sob. We really waste no time, do we? Ringing out from some distant part of the house, echoing through its empty halls. Beside me, slumped on the ground, pale and breathing heavily, McCulloch immediately tenses, so we do both hear it. Her eyes go wide and she grips the side of the counter with a force that might be enough to crack it if only she has the strength. As it is, she can barely stand. She hasn't fully recovered. Makes sense of the 3 or more days without proper food or water. I mean, we are in the kitchen, just grab something. And it's this weakness that puts the fear in her eyes. She's aware. If something happens, if there's a need to run, she won't be able to. She's a liability at this point.
Holmes, I really don't think going any further is a good idea. Look at this place. Everything seems fine. Nothing's off. Maybe we should just go? I really don't like the sound of that.
You really don't have to come with me. Just until the kitchen, yeah?
Let me just leave you by yourself in this very obviously haunted house.
We're already here. You've done your part. From here on, I'm going on my own.
Bring her back and then return to the house.
Yes, I said that, but...
Can you even stand?
She doesn't answer.
You'll only be putting yourself in more danger if you follow after me. You have an easy way out of here. Stay here. Once you're okay, I need you to get yourself out of this place.
What? I'm not going to leave you!
Well, I'm not taking you with me either, lady. So it's here or out there.
You really are mad, aren't you?
Probably all will be, if no one fixes this little curse problem we have.
You think you'll find something in here? This is just a mansion, for God's sake!
Maybe. It's worth a shot. Besides, if what we're hearing right now says anything, I'd say scumbags.
Who?
Right. He might be knee-deep in trouble and he has no idea about it.
McCulloch still appears as if she's about to argue, so instead of more words, I unholster my taser and hand it to her. A standard issue for every member of Luxburn Police Force, but it shouldn't take a genius to know how to aim and fire one. Even Isabella may just be able to use it without training. Yet Miss Interior Designer Extraordinaire stares at it as if I've just handed her something particularly nasty.
Listen, you want to wait? Fine. I'm leaving this with you. But if I don't come back here within 15 minutes, I want you to backtrack and get the hell out of here.
Are you daft, Holmes? I already told you!
In case something goes wrong, I need someone who can tell people what's going on. Who can tell my friends what might have happened here. They're at the crawl. You know the place, right?
I trail off, letting the meaning of my words hang in the air. I want to be optimistic about this, really. However, I'm going against something almost everyone can't quite understand. I'm just being realistic with my chances. McCulloch seems to understand this as well, after what I've said. Any sign of protest has already died from her tongue, and she simply looks at the taser quietly. After a moment, she just nods. Beyond the walls of this room, the cries continue to grow louder, and I take it as a sign to leave. Without another word, I slip out of the door. Like a siren call, her voice beckons. Finding out who that is seems a good place to start as any, even though we are very obviously already being subjected to auditory hallucinations. How do we know it's not going to lead us straight to Johannes, who just knocks our ass out? I keep to the shadows for the most part. Not that there's any need to, the entire place just feels empty. Odd, when a house this big should have a large staff. You'd think there would be one or two roaming about for some late-night chores, or someone seeking out whoever's creating this ruckus. There's none, however.
Shouldn't they have security posted inside as well?
Unless their security means the butler, though I doubt Scumbag's that sloppy. He loves his life more than anything. Probably more than his own wife. And the things he's done, he's bound to make more than an enemy or two. He's also the kind who'll do anything to keep himself safe. Alive.
I wonder what he'll say when he finds out that there's something not human living with him in his own house.
Potential dangers aside, being on my own grants me a greater degree of mobility, which I'm more comfortable with. Sure, I could have enlisted McCulloch's help. Next to the people who owns this, she's probably the one who's most familiar with the mansion. But the cons of bringing her outweigh the pros. She's better off somewhere a quick exit's in sight. With no tag along, I only have to worry about myself, watch my back. Selfish, I know.
But necessary.
In the same manner this whole plan is, no matter how idiotic going into this is. Besides, I don't really need a guide when the house's layout is fairly simple, almost mirrored with only a few modifications in the rooms. Although I've only been here once, I think I already have a good grasp of this place's ins and outs. Oh yeah, that's right, we did just walk around the place in the open house, that's right. And the party. As long as you can tell which is east and west, it shouldn't be hard to find my way around. As long as you can tell, I could find my way. After the dining room, the main foyer should be the next thing that greets me, where the woman's cries are leading me. Honestly, after what happened outside, I'm not even sure if I should be trusting what I'm hearing. Duh? But with the whole house somehow seemingly devoid of any of its inhabitants, I'm inclined to look into this. More than surviving this curse, a huge part of this is my training speaking.
I just hope this isn't a crime scene I'm walking into.
No, but it will be. But nothing's ever that simple, isn't it? Not when you're dealing with the supernatural. Nope. Because as soon as my feet cross to the next room, something shifts. Whoa. Huh. Okay, no, for real, where are the inhabitants of the damn house? I'm actually surprised there's even a staff outside. In a flash. Nearly without fanfare. It happens in the blink of an eye. I almost miss it. One moment, there's red. In the next... Okay. Huh. I'm standing alone in the foyer. For a brief instant, I pause. Glancing wildly around the place, blinking twice as if my movements will spur the vision back. Yet, nothing. No blood dripping on the walls, none trailing down the stairs or pooled on the floor, no eyes watching my every movement. Only the same cries, gradually growing in intensity the longer I dally, along with the voice. "And what are you doing here, sir?" Well, okay, fair enough. Desperate.
Where are you, Mother?
That does sound like it has the potential to be Hannah's voice, but we're getting spooky visions, so... pleading.
Mother, please. I don't want to be alone.
Coming from the same direction I've heard the cries from. Upstairs. The place is not entirely empty then. A better question now is who? Definitely not Scumbag or the butler. I've yet to see hide nor hair of them, and not knowing their whereabouts puts me on the edge. I guess I would have said puts me on edge. I have to be careful not to make any noise, or be seen. Maybe the wife, though one can't really tell if it's her, the way the walls echo her voice. Nevertheless, it pushes me to move. Taking almost 2 steps at a time, despite the sickening feeling that something's lurking behind every great shadow, every small corner I pass. As if the house has several eyes watching my every movement. As if something alive dwells behind the walls themselves. Well, welcome to Silent Hill? No, we're cool. Don't worry about it. That was for me, the player. I try to shake it off. But the uneasy sensation has already made home at the pit of my stomach. Dread. And it only grows deeper the closer I get to her. The relative emptiness of the place doesn't help either, neither does the harsh wind battering the windows, which are open in this image, nor the sheets of rain pelting down the roof. For a fleeting second, I find myself wishing for Scumbag to simply show up. Yeah, do you know how much easier that would be? I don't get too far down into that train of thought. Abruptly, the cries stop. Well, looks like that took care of itself. Back downstairs. Bye! Replacing it with...
Please. She's here. She's here, Mother. She's going to take me.
So is Hannah having a night terror then? I forgot where this is. Does this lead to the bedroom or to that little attic? Because this was the room that we saw before that point.
She won't leave, Mother. Mother, I don't want to go with her. Tell her to go away. Mother! Mother, she's here! Help!
That can't be good. I suspect it's a nightmare like Zach's of this traumatic childhood experience. Adrenaline overcomes me in a rush. In no 2 heartbeats, my feet's already... What? My feet are already moving. Way to kill the freaking tension. Before any sense can catch up, or doubt creeps up to me. My hands ready at the holster as I hastily set off for the far side of the hall. One alarmed footstep after another, while struggling to keep that sense of panic at bay. A door lies ajar at the end, and coming from the floor above...
She's going to hurt me! Help me!
I do not hesitate. Moving in, despite the lack of light, the steep stairs, or the thick layer of dust kicking up with my every step. I pause only a moment upon reaching the top. Then, without wasting a second, I push the door open. Wait, what? Wait, what? We can't see the face, so it could be a ghost illusion, but if that somehow is Hannah, even though the hair's way different... She sits in the middle of the room, shoulders hunched, shaking. Her hands cover her face as she weeps, oblivious to my presence. It's as if she has heard neither my footsteps nor the soft creaking of the door, continuing undisturbed like I'm standing in a time far removed from her. She doesn't even flinch when I call out to her. That is weird. I mean, normally I would ask if we're gonna do the cliche jump scare if she turns around and it's Spooky Ghost, but we're seeing her from the front, even if her face is covered.
Hey, are you alright?
The blood won't come off. No matter what I do, the blood won't come off.
Mother, I've done it, Mother. Take me with you, please.
Is this somehow the ghost living her own flashback? This is bizarre.
I still hear her. She's here. Help me! Help me, please!
Belatedly, I noticed the blood on her hands. I guess I have a really good eye. If it's the same one, well, if it's the same drenching the whole attic, I'd rather not know. Yeah, it's all over the walls, the bed. How the whole room has ended up like this is the least of my problems at the moment. Even the single human body doesn't have this much blood. So, bodies? The thought sends an unpleasant twinge in my stomach. Does Wright even know about this? He's bad news, alright, but this? In his own home? Come on. This is beneath him. He'll definitely balk at first sight of it. Anyone will. Yet the woman lingers here, unmoved by the sight, letting her sobs fill the room, repeating the words over and over again like a prayer of salvation. To whom? The mess of parchment she has left on the floor? Oh, so this is the ghost living her own flashback, isn't it? 'Cause she wrote the letter? Just what the hell is happening?
Hey, lady, are you?
The rest of that question never makes it out. Because I'm already dead. No, but something's gonna happen. I don't even see it coming. Yup. Should have been more aware and on guard, really. Yup. But there's little I can do when a well-placed blow to the back of my knees makes me stumble. So it's Johannes then. The momentum alone sends me reeling forward to the room with no one in it. So we're back at the start of the game. This is where we first met the ghost. It barely even registers in my head that the woman's gone, and the room's as normal as it can be. I'm not above the pain suddenly shooting up my side when I hit the floor. I don't even get the chance to get my bearings back when a hard enough blow to the stomach causes me to buckle down and land heavily on my knees. But this was not influenced by player choice as far as I'm aware, so I guess this is a mandatory Johannes ass-kicking? Gasping, I fumble wildly for my gun. Although before I'm able to turn, level it, and shoot, a hand grabs my wrist and twists it. Hard. A gasp. A grunt. A cry of pain slips past my mouth. The gun falls to the floor with a thunk. As soon as it lands, a foot kicks it out of my reach and it slides uselessly under the bed. We just, get jumped constantly in this game. Agony suddenly explodes in my chin, jerking loose a sharp cry of pain, and stars fill the edges of my vision. A brief moment of regret hits me for leaving my taser with McCulloch when a piece of cloth closes around my neck. Wait, what? Without warning, my attacker pulls, tight. I'm left gasping, choking, and clawing for air, blindly reaching behind me as I still try to fight him off and loosen the pressure on my neck. Except any sort of movement only causes him to pull it taut.
My, so many rats scurrying about in this mansion lately.
So many? Wright's butler. Shit.
Tell me, what did you do with the madam?
Wait, what? Oh, that's a question. I have no idea what he's talking about. Did something happen to Hannah Wright?
Let go, you asshole.
What'd you expect?
Now, Dummkopf, you're in no position to be rude. Last time I checked, I'm not the one breaking into other people's homes. Now answer my question. What did you do with the madam?
What the hell did we miss for the last, 3 people we played as? The pain rings and resonates through my already sore body. Still, I managed to ride it out and spit a mutinous...
You.
Keep that dirty mouth babbling and you're getting a knife in the kidney.
Yeah, do remember, Wright called him as some kind of insult or callback, Brother Grimm, so I get a feeling this guy's got a history.
I assure you, it will be more painful than this.
He really doesn't need to threaten me by now. It's all too much to bear at this point. My lungs feel like they're burning with the lack of air. Dark spots begin to fill the edges of my vision. Ever so slowly, the world around me dims. My consciousness rapidly slips away from me. And without meaning to...
Get away from him!
Isabella? I did figure my friends would play catch-up, but... Really? Hearing that voice is as if I've been doused with a bucket full of ice-cold water. Of ice. Cold water. Familiar. Too familiar. And more importantly, it shouldn't be here. I shouldn't be hearing it here. She shouldn't be here. Immediately my eyes snap open. Really? And right there, right on the attic's doorway, stands Isabella, of all people, with the taser? No, Not a damn chance. It's McCulloch and we're seeing things. There's no freaking way. She even has the rolling pin. A rolling pin on one hand, and a standard issue police taser in the other. My taser. She must have borrowed it from McCulloch. I guess? Where else could she have gotten one? I doubt she's ever used one even. Hell, the way she holds it right now, this guy can easily disarm her in one hit, which would involve freeing me. But there's something in her. In her eyes. Although there's a look of fear in them and her handshake, she keeps the weapon trained and pointed at Scumbag's lackey. Untrained or not, she does not plan to leave here without putting up a fight, it seems. Admirable, really, but it's just not something we need right now. I need her to be away from here. I need her safe. But the chances of that happening grow slim with every laughter that slips from him.
Oh, this is just getting better and better. The Bratwurst won't be pleased with the number of bodies we have to dispose of today, you know.
What? Oh.
Tell me, how many of you are there? So I can prepare the proper number of bags.
I freaking love Johannes. This guy's the best. Damn it. What the fuck is going on? Why is she here in the first place? Did she follow after me? Who else came with her? Zach? Rebecca? Are they all here? Those story updates. I guess the fact that we're asking those questions implies that they're alive. You know, could Zach have come here? We wouldn't have asked that if he'd already been dead. Panic surges within me. She knows how bad the situation is, but did she really have to run in here and expose herself like that? Yeah, she should have just tased him. Does she even know how to use a taser? For fuck's sake. More than worrying for my life, it's her I'm concerned about. Getting strangled, dying by choking isn't part of the plan, but her following me here isn't either. This is why I prefer to do things alone, so I have the chance of getting rescued. Or so I don't have the chance of getting rescued. This is why I'd rather be the only one to take the consequences. I don't even want to think what this bastard might do to her after he's done with me. Probably the same exact thing he's going to do to me. This guy's a professional. Though my voice comes off nearly a croak, I try to tell her as much. She has to leave. Stay far away from here and these people.
Don't! Damn it, Isabella! Get out of here!
Another bout of pain erupts in my side, cutting off my words. A cry of agony bursts from my mouth. I can taste blood in my tongue as I heave, attempting to get in as much air despite the towel. As much air? Still coiled around my neck.
Ash?
You're going to lose air quickly that way, Dummkopf. Better keep it shut.
Get out! 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 Val!
This must be weird for Johannes, because, like, if he sees Marianne, why are you still here? The fact that he's seeing Isabella, like, aren't you the realtor? What?
Don't be stupid! I'm not leaving you here!
Oh, I love him. He laughs. Too cruel. Too unforgiving. The way each note beats against my ears in spite of the warmth in them sends chills down my spine. This is a man whose hands have already been stained with blood before. Oh, no doubt. He won't hesitate.
I'd follow his advice if I were you, little girl. What could you possibly do with a toy?
The taser just doesn't work on him. Something weird. He was a robot the whole time.
Just hand it over and be on your way. It'll probably be too difficult for a little girl like you to use.
There's a moment of silence. Fuck, I can barely keep my eyes open. Yeah, this is way too long. But in the next second, though I still don't exactly understand what's happening, Isabella shouts. Not a cry of pain. Oh no, is this gonna be like, wait a minute, Johannes, the ghost is right behind you, and for some reason it chooses to save 2 people's lives instead of kill all 3 because he's gonna go after Johannes instead. Not a yell of panic. Oh? But one that's resolute. Okay, well the eyes threw me then. Firm. Perhaps in a tone that's leagues fiercer than any I've heard from her before.
Try me! Ashton, duck!
I do. Somehow. More out of instinct and desire to survive. Closing my eyes before my mind can fully process what's going on. Well, it all happens in a blur. The telltale sound of a taser being discharged resounds through the room. The air crackles. Something whizzes by, almost too close to my ear, followed by the thud of something blunt connecting solidly with another object. Did she tase then hit? The next thing I know, the towel strangling me has started to loosen. I collapse on the floor, dazed and gasping for air. From my peripheral, through the haze of blood rushing and sound slowly filtering back, the butler buckles. He spasms once. Then, without much fuss, falls face first beside me, knocked unconscious by 50,000 volts of electricity and a fucking rolling pin. You know, I have to say, despite the circumstances, because he was certainly going to kill us, I gotta say, I feel bad. He is by far my favorite character in this game. He'll be out for a while. I have no idea whether I should laugh or cry at that. Somewhere in front of me, my oxygen-deprived brain vaguely registers Isabella's form. She slumps on the floor, also breathing heavily. Right next to her trembling hands, both the taser and the rolling pin lie useless and forgotten, while the mood in the room eases. A long, gradual process of the tension lifting. For countless seconds we remain quiet, with only our short gasps and sighs to fill the silence, allowing the adrenaline ebb away and both our breathing to slow. Not a true repose by any means, but simply a brief respite. There's still the curse. We're still inside the mansion, in imminent danger. And now he knows who came in. We'd better, now we can't leave. We we have to deal with the ghost and or find where Hannah is and bring her out, because he knows who we are. It's over. Our lives are over unless we clearly prove that we have reason to be here. We still have no idea how to fix this. Outside, the rain seems to only intensify. Lightning flashes fleetingly somewhere, white and piercing, and the sky rumbles. No rest for the wicked. Whew. That was amazing, but for now, it is time to stop the installment. Well, we certainly made a lot of progress today, didn't we? I think I might have just learned something. See, this is the second time the ghost tried the old crying woman trick. With Zack, we had the option to take it or leave it. With Ash, we did not. In both cases, Johannes beats our ass. But this entire game, I've been thinking, good thing I avoided the choice with Zack, because he would have been dead. And I still think I'm right. But maybe it wasn't the ghost that would have killed him after all. Maybe Johannes would have just freaking murdered him, because Johannes is Brother Grimm. Ooh. I'm glad we dodged that bullet, even if I do feel bad for the freaking killer. Go figure. But Johannes is just so freaking cool. But now we are alone with an unconscious man in a very obviously haunted house, with Marianne, now weaponless, in the kitchen. Our first step had damn well better be down to the kitchen, or at least to ask Isabella if any of our friends are with Marianne, because now we just left her there without anything. This is a freaking nightmare. And Hannah's missing? What the hell is going on here? Until next time, everyone.